Toronto woman is hosting a run at Riverdale Park this weekend in response to a violent incident that happened there last week. Amanda Richardson was at the park last Wednesday for an early morning run to celebrate a milestone birthday. Her run was disrupted when she was attacked. A man smacked her in the face and ran away. But that didn't stop Amanda. She went on to complete her run, and this Sunday, she's going to be taking back the track with a few of her friends. For more on this, we're joined by Amanda Richardson. She is the co-founder of the group Chicks Run the Six, and we're also joined by Constable Michelle Baird. She is with the Ottawa Police Service, and she's also an ultra marathoner. Thanks you so much both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Amanda, I want to start with you. I briefly explained what happened the morning you went for a run, but if you're comfortable, would you mind taking us through what happened from your perspective?
Sure. So as you said, it was a milestone birthday. It was my 40th birthday, and I decided I run at that track all the time. Since moving from Australia, I found that track, and I go there for speed workouts. I go there for my kids' track, and I decided that for my 40th birthday, I would run 40 laps of the track. And as you said, I run with Chicks Run the Six, and the girls said, we'll come down. You know, people were coming and going throughout the morning. Some ran the whole time, some just popped in and out. Obviously being, needing to start early in the morning, my husband said, I'll come down to the track with you, make sure that you're safe, and, everybody that's there, can just focus on the running and not have to worry about anything else. So we got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, started doing our laps. Probably just after 7 o'clock, the sun was out. It was light at the track. There were dog walkers around. There was probably around 6 of us still in our group. We had light up vests on, as I said, dog walkers around, sun had come up, we're running our laps, and then we saw a man come onto the track, which, all the people that had come to run laps with me so far have done the same thing, came onto the track, stood and waited for the group to approach, and then everyone else had sort of just tagged on and then started running laps. And as we were approaching the man, underneath the hat and the jacket, we're trying to sort of make out who was it. And we got closer and obviously realised he was not here to run. He came round to the side. I was on the end of the group, and that's when he, hit me across the face. And obviously it was enough to sort of turn me away, head down, and away from where he went. And then he took off into the bushes. At which point I realised obviously I had a bleeding nose, and was really obviously in shock at that point.
It's just horrible to hear. What were you feeling in the moments after the attack? Was it just shock? When did you realize what had happened?
Yeah, so like I said, it stopped me from running. It dazed me, I guess, for a minute, and then I knew straight away that something was wrong. I wasn't sure how much. Obviously, my face was really cold, so it was just tingling and it hurt, but yeah, really that sort of tingling, numb feeling. And I knew, putting my hand to my face, that my nose was bleeding, and I was just doing, the checks, is anything cut, or have I got all my teeth, that kind of feeling. And then obviously the girls that were running right with me went to the side of the track to sort of at least see which way did this person go, were they still there, at which point they called the police to come down to obviously ensure, that this didn't happen to someone else.
Yeah, Constable Baird, I want to ask you, you're listening to this story, and it's easy to say in hindsight, I could have done this or that to maybe better protect myself, but the reality is you're out exercising, that's what you're focused on, your mind isn't going to a bad place. Is there anything that maybe someone can do in the future to say, hey, okay, even if I'm not focused on that, I maybe have a chance to better protect myself?
It's always recommended to remain vigilant when you're running. I run along a trail in my neighborhood, and I'm always aware of my whereabouts. I always have a phone, especially if I'm running by myself, and I always let somebody know where I'm running, how long I'd be going for, and the route, just in case anything happens. The weather is getting cold. My phone doesn't stay on for long distance runs, so your phone can be a lifesaver, and unfortunately with the cold weather it could die on you. Running in groups, pairs, well-lit areas. If you're running at night, make sure that you have some reflective gear. And if you see something that you don't think is right, go with your gut feeling. Try to get away, go a different direction, call the police, and report it.
A gut feeling, I like that. And I want to ask you, you yourself, you're an ultra marathoner. Is your head on a swivel when you're running? And if it is, I mean, how do you not let that impact your run? Because that takes a lot of focus as it is.
I just try to get my run done and not worry about those things. We can worry all we want, but unfortunately in Amanda's situation, it sounds like, this was the wrong day, the wrong place, and this person decided to go after her for whatever reason. And we have to keep going out and doing what we do and running, as both Amanda and I love. We're going to keep doing it.
You said that you have to keep doing it. And Amanda, I want to ask you, because after your attack, I think most people would call it a day and say, you know what, I'm going to go home on the rest of the nose, recuperate. You kept going. What made you keep going?
Oh, so my husband, as I said, my husband was there, and once the sun came up and he said, okay, there's a group of you here, I'm going to go and get the kids. So I knew I have two boys, 8 and 11, and I knew that my boys and my niece were coming down to the track to run a couple of laps with me for my birthday. And obviously these other women, my friends, had come out to run laps with me, and I just knew that, like Michelle said, I wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to let this stop. Stop me. I know, these things happen, unfortunately, to women all over the world all the time. And it was the thought of that, the kids coming and people seeing that stop me, that spurred me on. I just knew that I wouldn't let that be how the story ended that day. And it kind of spurred me on even more to finish, because I was literally halfway through. So it was another nearly 20 laps.
Well, the story,
processing it.
Yeah. Well, the story doesn't even end from that day, because you're now taking it another step further. You're organizing an event called Take Back the Track. Tell us about the event.
Yeah, so in the days, like I said, in a social media post, it was those minutes and, hours and days that went on that I realized that we needed to say we won't stop. We realize that there's, things like this can happen, but we have every right to feel safe and to feel able to go out and do something like go for a run on a track or a trail or wherever we want to go for a run. So lots of beautiful friends and people in the running community and honestly strangers that I didn't even know said, we want to organize a run. We want to go back to that track with you to say women should be able to run where they want to run, and in particular, back to this track where you ran that day. So we're going to gather on Sunday night at 6 o'clock at the Riverdale track. We're going to wear lights, bright and in our pink, and we're going to run around the track. We're encouraging, women runners. Obviously, our chicks run the 6 groups, but allies. A lot of my male running friends have reached out and said, how can we help? How can we be part of this? And obviously, awareness, spreading this story and other stories like this is the biggest thing that they can do initially to start, is to say this is the kind of thing that is going on. These are the things that women think about when they're going for a run. Where I run, what I need to wear, what I need to do, the things I need to think about.
Yeah, and Constable Baird, I want to ask you one more thing. I mean, in a situation like this, the reality is it's very difficult to catch someone who did something like this and ran off, but should that take away, in terms of reporting these incidents?
Absolutely not. Anything like that you always should report, because it might not have been the first time and it might not be the last. So the more people report these incidences, then the more likely the person can be caught.
And Constable Baird, we appreciate you joining us. And Amanda, it's incredible to see what you're doing, and the fact that you're keeping this going is it's very commendable. We appreciate you being on, and good luck on Sunday.
Thanks so much.